Hey guys, True Star Wars Nerd here. Today I will be talking about corvettes. I will be looking at each main military in Star Wars, the Rebels, the Empire, the Republic, the CIS, the First Order, and the Resistance, and looking at the corvettes that they use. I'll be looking at the corvettes and seeing which role they will play best. Now, a corvette is usually used to screen against starfighters, but I want a corvette that can also is a multi-purpose corvette. One that doesn't really specialize in one thing, but it's kind of good for everything. I also want a corvette that can engage capital ships, fly in, do damage, fly out, and one that can give ground support. It can drop troops off, it can drop supplies, it can reinforce the ground troops. And the corvettes we'll be looking at for the Rebels is the CR-90 / Rebel Blockade Runner. For the Empire, it's the Raider class corvette. For the Republic, it's the Consular class corvette. The CIS doesn't have a corvette that I could find, so I'm not going to count them. The First Order doesn't really have a corvette that I could find either. But if there are corvettes that they use, typically tell me in the comments down below because I couldn't find any. And not last but not least, the Resistance and the bunkerbuster corvette. I will be allowing to make upgrades to these corvettes. I will add a max of 4 laser cannons, 2 dual turbo lasers, 2 dual laser cannon towers, concussion missile launcher, and a nose gunner. Position. Alright, let's start off with the Rebels and their CR-90 / Rebel Blockade Runner. Standing at a length of 150 meters, it is packed to the brim for its size, with 2 dual turbo lasers and 4 single turbo lasers. This is an odd choice for a corvette, because corvettes are usually designed to screen against starfighters, but I did say I wanted one to engage capital ships. So instead of swapping the turbo lasers out for laser cannons, I'll add a concussion missile launcher and 2 laser cannons and use this to engage capital ships. Let's move on to the Republic and their Consular class corvette, which is one of my favorite corvettes in Star Wars. It's very sturdy. Now, we could look at the scene in The Phantom Menace when it gets blown up, but the turret that blew it up was on high and the shields were down. Not a fair comparison, but in Star Wars The Clone Wars Episode 1, Season 1, we see it take several shots from a droid cruiser and not get destroyed. It was damaged, but it did not get destroyed. When we see the CR-90 take several shots and then was disabled, and they were trying to disable the ship, and the turrets were on low. When with the Consular, the droids were trying to destroy the ship. So I would disable the big escape pod, the 16-passenger escape pod located underneath the bridge. It's not necessary. There is 2 other 8-person escape pods, so that's a total of 32, and it only takes a crew of 8. So I'd get rid of that. And I also like to note the Consular class corvette we see, the Phantom Menace, has 0 weapons. 1 concealed blaster, that's it. But luckily, most of them were upgraded for the Clone Wars with 5 turbo lasers, all dual, and a laser cannon turret. I would also add 1 laser cannon tower, 1 on each side of the disabled pod, and a laser cannon on the middle section of the top and the bottom. Also add a nose gun and concussion missile launcher, and I would use this as my multi-role corvette. Pretty much good for everything, but doesn't really specialize in one thing. Move on to the Empire and their Raider class corvette. Now, we know this has turbo lasers, concussion missile launchers, and laser cannons, but we don't know how many. A YouTuber I watched called Eckhart's Letter, he came to the conclusion that it had 6 laser cannons, 2 dual turbo lasers. Unless we get an official number, I'm going to go with those numbers. I would use this to screen against starfighters. I would upgrade it. I'd add 4 laser cannons on. And I would add a hangar bay, which seems too much. Like, that upgrade does seem too much for a corvette. But one of these A Raider class corvette has been upgraded to hold 2 X-wings before, so I am going to allow that. And I bet you could fit 4 A-wings because they're smaller. Moving on to the Resistance and their bunkerbuster class corvette, standing at a length of 316.05 meters. This is a pretty big corvette. You could argue it is more like a frigate, but the book I read, Star Wars The Last Jedi Incredible Cross-Section, says it's a corvette. Oh, and by the way, although this is from The Last Jedi, there will be no Last Jedi spoilers to the very, very end, and I will tell you before those happen, before I do the spoilers. Okay, moving on. The bunkerbuster corvette has an armament of 6-point defense turrets, 2 heavy dual turbo lasers, 8 ordnance pods, and 3 heavy plasma bombs with an explosion yield of 100 megatons. That's 3,000 times as strong as a nuclear bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Now, I would use this to support ground troops, drop troops off, drop supplies. This could be an effective ship for that, because with the plasma bombs, it could bomb the enemy. I would add 4 laser cannons on the front, 2 laser cannon towers, each on one side of the engines for starfighters and anti-personnel. And I would add a concussion missile launcher. And 2 extra dual turbo lasers, one on the top and one on the bottom. And that's how I would use it to support ground troops. Well, guys, this is my video. Thank you for watching. Again, if you like the video, subscribe, leave a like, and leave a comment down below if you have a different opinion, if these upgrades are too much or should upgrade them more, or if you have an idea for future videos. If you want this to become a series where I do this on frigates and then cruisers all the way up to dreadnoughts, I can. Just leave a like and then leave a comment down below saying you want this to be a series. If you like the video but you don't want it to become a series, leave a like and leave a comment down below that you don't want it to become a series. Now, thank you for watching this episode of the True Star Wars Nerd. But before I end, I want to answer a question from last week's video, which somebody asked in the comments, but there will be spoilers for this part. So if you haven't seen the movie, turn away now. Madison wants to know, why did DJ sell Finn and Rose out? Well, after doing some research, I figured out that DJ views both sides fighting in the Second Galactic Civil War as 2 halves of a system, both breeding greed and corruption. So I think his plan all along was to sell Finn and Rose out. I think he just went with them so he could sell them out and make money. I don't think he was really trying to help out any side. I think he was just trying to make money off it. But that last part was just my opinion because we don't have an official answer. Thank you for watching this episode of the True Star Wars Nerd, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye!